guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry, and I know a lot of you are excited. It is, of course, Miss Universe season. We will definitely talk about that, as well as our representative for the Philippines, Beatrice Luigi Gomez, and see how she's doing. So please make sure you stick around. Please subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant fix. Guys, you feel my excitement because it's Miss Universe season, my most favorite international pageant of all. I don't care if it sucks this year. I don't care if it has controversies left and right. Miss Universe is my favorite. That's why I'm going to bring you whatever it is that I could sniff from the pageant pages as well as the pageant admins out there. But before that, I want to, touch on the other ladies that are also competing internationally for Team Philippines. Today is November 30th. It is also Bonifacio Day. And by evening, we will have to rally for Sam Panlilio because she will compete at the National Costume Show at Miss Grand International. I want to extend a shout out to Tracy Maureen Perez, Miss World Philippines, who is doing a stellar job representing the Philippines at Miss World in Puerto Rico. She has been looking fresh, looking really snazzy in all of her outfits. And what I really like about her is that she does have that calm energy, that, happy Filipino vibe going on. And I think she's doing really well. I posted her head-to-head challenge performance, and yeah, she did really well in that challenge, guys. Of course, there will be more challenges at Miss World, and it's going to be an uphill climb for Tracy, but I hope that they notice her because, yeah, she's light as a feather. So depending on, who the candidate is, today is actually day 2 or day 3 of Miss Universe. Now, there hasn't been any movements yet, guys. We don't have the photo shoots yet because according to this Instagram page called Miss You Updates, arrivals, registration, as well as orientation will take place between November 28th up until December 3rd. So a number of the ladies have already arrived in Jerusalem. We are, of course, still waiting for a few of them. And, it has been a frantic couple of days because COVID is so unpredictable, and very recently they discovered a new variant, and this directly affected traveling going to Israel. But you've been following this all along. I'm sure you're aware that initially Israel announced a travel ban for the foreigners, making it difficult for travelers to come into the country, which, gave us a huge question mark because they are, of course, hosting Miss Universe. But later on, there were a number of statements that was released, and it mentioned that they will be granting a special waiver or maybe a special arrangement for the ladies of Miss Universe. Now, I don't know what will happen to the staff, the crew, or maybe the friends and family of these ladies who have also secured tickets to go to Miss Universe in Israel. Even if we already knew where it was heading in the competition, Indonesia announced that they won't be joining this edition, which I think is, pretty peaceful for us. But I'm just saying that because the finals was decided to take place in Israel, then a number of countries really could not make it, and they made announcements saying that it had something to do with COVID, knowing, of course, that it might have something to do with the geopolitical arrangements of these countries. So yes, Indonesia withdrew, along Malaysia, as well as, I don't know what happened to Miss Universe UAE. I mean, they're still there at the app, but there has been no announcements whatsoever, which is really strange because now we are having talks of Miss Bahrain joining. We have talks, of course, of Miss Morocco joining. So I don't know what happened to Miss UAE. So yeah, I wish they'd, give out an announcement very soon. Now, other things that are worth talking about, we had a little bit of a commotion with South Africa because the new variant was discovered in South Africa. And on top of the withdrawal of support of the South African government at Miss Universe, then there are also talks that, they might bar Miss South Africa from entering Miss Universe in Israel because of, COVID and the new variant. But I don't know, Layla is really pushing through. We saw her raise her flag. We saw her in Jerusalem, and, she seems to be holding up her own, and I don't think that anything will stop her from her representation because she's doing quite well. We've seen a number of fetishes from her, and yeah, Layla is in Israel to stay. cannot say the same though for Miss Namibia, because Namibia apparently has been trying to get in but was denied entry. I think Namibia's team of legal team, they're still trying to work things out, but the way I see it, maybe they're losing time. I don't know what's gonna happen. Another thing that is really rocking Israel, of course they're being very low-key about it, is that yeah, someone tested positive, and it's just so unfortunate that it was Miss France, Clemence Botino, because Miss France was crowned as early as 2019. She has been waiting for 2 years. They skipped her at 2020. They sent Amanda Petit instead. But, you know, she arrived in Israel. She mingled with the other girls only to test positive. So she already released a statement. Of course, she is heartbroken that she will be in isolation. She will be recovering. We don't know what will happen. I mean, if she makes it before the finals, we don't know if she will be allowed to compete. But there are also reports that, yeah, she will no longer get to compete, as the reports say that if you test positive, then it's goodbye to you. So, really better safe than sorry. The team in Israel is really limited, and Miss Universe, of course, hasn't been moving to really document everything. We have to say thank you to the Thai team from Thai Sashes, who is on the ground, who is at the hotel, who is documenting all of these ladies. We don't have any events lined up yet, so all of the photos that you've been seeing, of them dressed up, you know, doing their pasarela TikTok here and there, these are all very casual appearances because there aren't any events lined up yet. They have to go through registration. Earlier this afternoon, their national costume fitting. So yeah, I mean, now is a great time to really show what you've got in terms of your wardrobe, but I don't know, maybe it doesn't really make sense at this time. But anyway, Thai Sashes were kind enough to share videos and photos with us, and I think that these are some of the standouts. I want to give a shout out to Vietnam. I know that she has been very polished with her editorial layouts. And of course, Venezuela is stunning. Venezuela is Venezuela. My only issue, though, if I am allowed to have issues, is that the styling is just a little too heavy-handed for me. It's just too Venezuela. It just doesn't have, I don't know, like modernity in it, because it's Venezuela the way we know Venezuela: big hair, defined brows, really perfect makeup. So I don't know, maybe I just wish that she would just sport something more natural this time, because we already know this look from Venezuela. Of course, everybody has been waiting for Miss Paraguay. She made an appearance. She looked like a doll, but I also noticed that a lot of people weren't as struck by her as how she presented herself in the photos. You know, everything was just so beautifully presented, because I don't know, maybe Paraguay has lost a little bit of her sheen. I don't know, but I just feel like she is a little too pale for me, so maybe just a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of coloring on her face would do her really well. Of course, Miss Colombia, she had a bit of an episode, like a baptismal episode. I don't know what she was doing in other parts of Israel, but Miss Colombia, Valeria Ayos, I think that she is polished. I think that she is ready to charge Miss Universe, and yeah, she's ready for the kill. I also want to give a shout out to Miss Brazil because of her luminosity. I mean, it feels to me like she has that invisible ring light going on. So she's blonde, she's beautiful. I love her eyes. She's got really pretty expressive eyes. So I want to see more of Miss Brazil. Miss Chile, who actually competed at Miss Earth, looks really, really pretty here at Miss Universe. You can see her bone structure. She does have the, you know, Latina look going on. She has that sexy look going on. But yeah, I think a lot of people have been noticing that beautiful bone structure, and she's actually being trained here by RL's Angels. Next, of course, Thailand made an appearance yesterday. In fact, Thailand was there when Baya checked on her luggage, and the team tried to catch Bea's attention so that they could have a photo op together. In fact, the photo op of Bea in the tracksuit that she was wearing was only with Miss Thailand because they were at the same place at the same time. So if you could see like the stark difference in height, don't worry about it. Our Bea is 5'9". She's pretty tall. It's just that Angeli is 6 feet tall, you guys. So yeah, she's definitely going to look like an Amazonian compared to Bea, who's already tall by standards. So will we forget South Africa? I mean, she wasted no time in really making sure that she announces her arrival, that she is in circulation in terms of social media exposure. And, she changed her hair. The Lalela we saw from Miss South Africa was someone really polished, with the ballerina like bun. This time around, sporting soft curls, soft waves. So it's a little different, and I like the diversity. My number 9th pick for standouts, of course, I think she is the favorite of a lot of pageant fans this year. I am talking about Miss India. That beautiful face is just something that cannot be denied, and I posted her on our Titas of Pageantry page because I felt that the photographers at Sashes were just so smitten because she had so many photos, she had so many video footages, and yeah, I think a lot of people are really rooting for Miss India. I mean, add that to the fact that she does really, really well at Q&A and her comm skills. So yeah, potentially dangerous. And I want to also recognize Spain because I posted her photo as well. And I don't know, there's just a little bit of that Rachel Peters polish in her. Rachel Peters polish. Try to say that 10 times. So I think she's beautiful. Again, I keep on saying this. I root for Spain every year. So it's been so long. The last Spaniard who won Miss Universe was in 1974. I think it's time they should consider. And some of the ladies arrived also while I was doing this list. So I'm going to add 2 more ladies to my standouts. I want to add Miss Japan. She's smiley, she's fresh, she speaks English, and she's always dressed to the nines. Of course, Miss Belgium, because Miss Belgium is someone we've been eyeing at for some time, and I'm really glad that how she looks like in photos posted of her before Israel is pretty much the same as her photos here in Israel. So, walang budol dun. Now, let's talk about our very own Bea Luigi Gomez. Now, I don't think this is a secret to you all that covering Bea Luigi is not the easiest for a vlogger like me. I'm not in the best situation with some of the members of the organization. So I think on my end, it would seem as if they're closing off. It would seem as if, they're not really willing to share. They're not really willing to, keep us in the loop, as more especially because I'm on the critical side. I'm sure that they have shared materials as well as updates to admins or maybe people who are closer to the organization, friendlier to the organization. That's why I feel that materials on Bea, they're very limited. If you don't know the people that she works with, you won't see it on her social media pages. You will hardly see it on the organization's pages. So it did get a little frustrating at first because unlike Rabia from a few months back, I would do like an episode on her styling, maybe what she could do. Like, we were really focused. But this time around, Bea didn't really need that much help anyway. At the end of the day, I think they already know what would work for Bea. And the pageant fans have been very, very vocal on what could work for Bea. So we were really pretty happy when we saw Bea at the departure. It was really very low-key. There weren't a lot of people rallying for Bea the same way we saw a number of people who would crowd at the airport, let's say for, Gazini, or of course for Kat, and then more recently for Rabia. But this time around, she left the country really quiet. She had, some folks covering her, like Miss Diane Castillejo of ABS. But yeah, we didn't get a lot of fanfare. And for some fans who are not really used to it, I thought that they got a little sad because they weren't kept in the loop. But it actually works because the hype that Rabia generated from a few months back pretty much backfired. So I think a lot of people now are backing off, and at the same time, trying to approach this fight with some distance, and I don't know, with just a more relaxed approach to Bea and her team. I guess now we want them to do what they can without us like looming over whatever decisions they might make, because the organization does have a habit of over promising but under delivering. So this time around we left them on their own, and if they wanted a low-key departure for Bea, we allowed it, and it was really nice because we weren't disappointed. When Bea left the country, she was in a beautiful dove gray ensemble. This was made by Francis Libiran, and it was really very different. It wasn't the usual suit or the usual Filipiniana that we're used to. But in a way, this is something that a lot of us really approved of, because it was so close to how we perceive Bea. We perceive her as someone more on the androgynous side. She looked like Astrid Leong. She looked like a character from Crazy Rich Asians. Very low-key, very elegant, and she had that Grimes element going on, so it was a little bit futuristic. It was new and we liked it. I think our only concern is that we wish that she could open up her neck more, because Bea doesn't have such a long neck that we put a premium on in terms of beauty pageant girls. So I wish that they would open up her neck more, because we get to see a lot of the turtleneck or mock turtleneck looks on her. So this was also the same from the dove gray ensemble that she wore when she left Manila. Her arrival was also a fashion event for the Filipino fans like us, because she was in a Marachua jacket that was a beautifully draped jacket. It does have couture techniques applied to it, and the first time we saw the jacket, jeans, and boots ensemble, we thought she could be a futuristic soldier type fashion type, and our observations aren't so far-fetched, because Marachua also posted something on her Instagram account saying that she took inspiration from Dune, she took inspiration from Chanel, she took inspiration from all of these hard looks that are more on the couture side, and it works. And if you look at her ensemble when she arrived, it was really different from all the other ladies who were like the most colorful birds and butterflies and flowers of the universe, and she was just there. She was steady and she looked really, really sharp. I really liked it. And again, if you also look at the, I don't know if this is far-fetched for me, but if you look at the Israeli flag, it's a combination of white and blue, and Bea was in a white jacket top, she was in the blue jeans, and white knee-high boots. So I don't know if that's a nod to the country, but I thought it was really, really nicely done. Now, a lot of people waited for Bea, because Bea, after her appearance from the arrival, we didn't get to really hear or see anything from her. She did update us the next morning, and the update was about waiting for the results of her PRC test, and later on we saw an update that she was doing her hair. So this got us really, really excited. But what happened was that when we saw her the next time, she was in a black athleisure wear. So for a number of pageant fans, it was a huge question mark. But I think the rest of us warmed up to the idea. I mean, I'm old school myself. I mean, I want my pageant girls dressed to the nines. I want my Filipino pageant girls to really set the bar high. But you know what? I absolutely did not mind the tracksuit. Later on, they had a lengthy explanation why she was in a tracksuit. Apparently, her luggage was lost. Everything was accounted for. But maybe the transfer service did not get all of her luggage in the hotel, so she was missing one suitcase. And apparently, because that was the case, she was already trying on some clothes that she could use. But the organization heads decided for her to just wear the tracksuit because there weren't any events lined up anyway, and she was just going to check the lobby for updates on her luggage. So I think that this really is a better move than, say, Asia Branch from 2020 Miss USA, who was photographed looking a little sloppy with her flip-flops and, you know, her bag and shorts and things like that. So for me, I think that Baya looked even more put together, and, you know, honestly, this seems like a huge FU to everyone who dressed up for nothing, because I don't know, for me, I felt that the look was just a different direction for Miss Universe. It's a look that signifies someone who's more in tune with what's happening, going down in, you know, something that's made up but in athleisure. For me, it's a modern woman, if you will say so. I'm pretty okay with the look. I mean, I thought that was a pretty put together look. I think it served its purpose. I don't know for the others if they were upset that she wasn't dressed just like the others who were having photo ops here and there. But before I end this, I just want to give you a bit of a reminder, guys. It's a little low-key at Miss Universe this time around, but I do know that they are in chaos because someone tested positive. I think not all of the health protocols were being followed, because we could see the girls, they didn't have any masks on. So if it's just about the photo op, I think Baya could let go of that. She doesn't have to dress as nicely as we expect her to be just for a series of photos with no events anyway and no merits to go ahead and dress the part if your health is at risk. So I would rather that Baya is, you know, hiding in her room and not really showing herself as much, because as Filipinos, you may think it's crazy in our country, but we actually follow the rules here. And I like that, you know, she was able to bring the same level of caution from the Philippines to Israel, because, you know, Baya would also mingle with the other girls with her mask on, with, you know, protection on. And, you know, with what's happening in Israel right now, and what with the tests that have been that are being done to the girls, then yeah, I think that we are in you know, we're pretty good to go with Baya. She knows her priorities. So I'm glad that she is updating more. She's utilizing more of her social media, because this is something that, you know, we talked about. She doesn't really connect. She doesn't really interact with a lot of us pageant fans. So for her to update us on what's going on, update us on her hotel room, waiting for the test, or, you know, mingling with some of the girls from breakfast, I think that this is already a go for me. So there you go, guys. I will be joining you more for our special coverage at Miss Universe. So for now, goodbye.